All right, guys, welcome to Beyond the Muscle. I'm really pleased to welcome our next guest, James Durham. So, James is a natural bodybuilder known for his exceptional conditioning, and he's the bodybuilder who I've shared the stage with more than anyone else last season. I believe it was four shows we competed at together last year. And yeah, I'll try to remember your 2024 accomplishments. I haven't actually made a note of them, but I think I know them. So, you finished third at the
Okay,
BNBF Southern,
I did.
you finished fourth at the British finals with the
Yep.
BNBF. Then you finished third at the UK DFBA, British and International finals,
Yeah.
and then fifth at DFAC Worlds. So yeah, welcome to the show, James. Did I get that right, by the way? Was I correct?
You did. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Very,
Yeah.
very good memory.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome, James. It's really good to chat to you again. And yeah, I'm not sure if you remember this, but we actually first met at the BNBF Southern when I borrowed your glaze. I don't remember. And then
Yeah.
I think I just lost it or forgot that I borrowed it, and then we spent a while trying to find it. So yeah, apologies. But
No worries. No.
yeah, but yeah, how was last season for you, James? How would you summarize your 2024?
Um. Well, phenomenal, I suppose. That's a good way to sum it up. Because finishing at the DFAC Worlds is something I never thought would be possible. So to have that opportunity and then to be able to compete there was special.
Yeah,
Um. But yeah, it's strange because looking back, the results maybe um, you always want to win or you always want to place higher.
yeah.
But I think you would agree that the standard of the competitors this season was phenomenal.
Mm.
Um, so absolutely no complaints over the results or the positions. Um, but yeah, getting all the way to the world finals and placing there without winning a show. So it's quite strange.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, he had a great season. And a big season as well. You did five shows, wasn't it, altogether? I think, which is quite a lot, same as myself. What were some of the highlights of the year for you, James?
Um, well, it's obvious to say the DFAC Worlds.
Mm.
Competing there, I went there purely for the experience. Absolutely no expectation. It was a bonus show. The fifth show was the bonus show. It was never planned. Um, so that was brilliant. Placing there, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
But but meeting the athletes and everything there, the support I got when I was on stage from the British team, from the athletes that I'd only literally just met the day before, it was brilliant. So definitely the DFAC Worlds. But then also in terms of results, I would say UK DFBA, UK and International Open.
yeah,
Um, Purely because of the standard of the guys that finished first and second. Absolutely phenomenal. So to share the podium with them at the end,
Mm.
that was brilliant. That was a nice highlight as well.
Yeah, great. Yeah, because I wasn't at that show, but that was Alex Harvey won that one, and
That's
then
right.
UT from Finland, who
Yeah,
I
that's
also
correct.
competed
Yeah,
against. Yeah,
yeah,
amazing athletes, both of them, and
yeah.
yeah, you all look like you belonged on that stage, and yeah, that was it looked like a tough class as well. To be fair, that was must have been a great result.
Yeah, and we've chatted about it before. It's very difficult when you're backstage and when you're
Mm.
seeing other athletes to compare yourselves where you think you might place and things like this. And it's something I try to avoid really.
Yeah,
I'm there just to kind of like just display the package that I've brought, and then the judges will decide the placings. But yeah, it was a very strong field, and like I say, it was a surprise, a nice surprise to be on the podium with them.
yeah. No, that's really cool. Yeah, what would you say was some of the biggest challenges you faced overall last year in prep?
Prep, I would say fatigue. It
Yeah,
has to be, and that is obviously being in a calorie deficit. It's very demanding, especially over a prolonged period of time. But then I also struggled with my sleep as well. I think it's a common thing, especially people that are so lean for so long.
Mhm.
Um, but I was struggling with my sleep, and we're talking maybe sleep a couple of hours, then I'll be awake for an hour or so,
Yeah.
then I'll drop off for another hour or two.
Mm.
Um, then it's time to get up for work, or
Mm.
that falls at a very awkward time where you're up an hour before your alarm should go off,
Yeah,
and it's all these kind of scenarios. So I'd say lack of sleep.
yeah.
That was the biggest challenge. Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we actually chatted to this on one of the shows last year about kind of comparing all our different side effects and ailments. But
Yeah,
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 energy for me was the big one as well. My sleep was actually okay. I was taking like magnesium,
mm,
ashwagandha, and L-theanine, like a little
right,
combo to try
yeah,
and mitigate the bad sleep. And I don't
yeah,
know if it was that or a placebo, but it definitely seems to help. And yeah, the sleep wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But I was similar. If I'd wake up in the night, yeah, it could be like an hour or so, and then before I got back
mm,
to sleep, because you just want to
yeah.
be eating, don't you? You don't want to be sleeping at that point.
So this is it. It's such a conundrum. And when I competed prior, that would really play on my mind, and I would really kind of like fixate on food or what I wanted to eat and stuff. But this
Mm,
time, it it never really came into it. It was just I would get up, I would have maybe a peppermint tea or something, and
yeah.
I would just accept the fact that I'm awake. I would go downstairs into the front room and relax for an hour or so, and then
Mm,
eventually, I think 20 minutes or so after I've had peppermint tea or something, I'll go back up to bed, try to sleep, and you do.
yeah.
Um, but it's just like a never-ending cycle, and all you want to do is just have a solid block of sleep.
Yeah. No, it is tough. It is
Mm.
for anyone who's never competed before, yeah, it's hard to really to get across how, yeah, it's a unique challenge, isn't it? Contest prep for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it
Um,
is.
you last competed in 2021, and yeah, I
Yeah.
think you only did two shows that year. Is that right?
Yeah, so we just coming out of COVID, so I've done the
Yeah.
Southern, and it was supposed to be one show and done.
Right.
And I said it to a few people. I was supposed to do a very serious contest prep, but for that one show, which I think was maybe just a few days inside the children's summer holidays.
Right.
So then I was going to compete, and then it's going to be a summer of beers, barbecues, and ice creams.
Nice.
But then obviously qualified for the British final, so then we had to have a chat as a family.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, decided to carry on prep all the way through the summer holiday,
yeah.
and then compete at the British finals. So yeah, that 21 was the last time. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. How did you do in the British final? I actually don't know. How was that season? Where did you finish in the final?
Well, it was very good. I come second. So
Was it?
yeah, it's very. Yanni won it. Yanni, well, competed with him UK DFBA this year.
Okay.
He
Yep.
he won it. Um, the feedback that I got is very close between us.
Mm,
But again, it was my first proper season.
yeah.
I did compete once before that a long time ago. But yeah, it's first proper season. Again, no expectations.
Mhm.
Um, it was, I would say, it was more challenging than last season than 24.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was an excellent result, excellent season.
Yeah. What was it like? Like, obviously, you've only done a season of two shows. What was it
Yeah.
like mentally having to then go into a season of five shows?
Hmm. Um, it it was similar, but I think mentally my approach was different.
Right.
So
Okay.
I knew when the last show was. I knew it was going to be. Let me have a look. It was going to be the UK DFBA International fin
Yeah.
um, Finals, um, and then obviously I got the invite for the Worlds. So I didn't know what was happening throughout the season. I
Right.
knew the shows that I committed to. So for myself mentally, all I kept saying to myself was, "I'll enjoy December."
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew I was competing in October. Um, so I didn't want to say that was my last show. I didn't want to say that after that I can eat. So mentally, I just said I'm going to enjoy December.
Yeah.
So it was the same mentality all the way through. Um, we, and that was different to the 21 season because 21 season, I think, is a novice mistake. I was fixated with all the foods I was going to eat after,
Yeah.
um, and it became a very heavy burden to carry around. You know, all this expectation, all these wonderful foods that you just can't have, that you're just anchoring for.
Mm,
But this year it was different. There were no real cravings. There were no real well, food cravings. It was just a
yeah.
case of I'll enjoy whatever I would like to enjoy in December.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What do you think the reason is for that kind of that shift? Do you think just experience?
I think, yeah, I'm reluctant to say maturity because I'm a few years older, but I was mature before.
Yeah.
So I would just say it was experience. Yeah.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
21, I was coached by Darren.
Yeah.
I've only ever been coached by Darren actually, but yes, 21 was the first competitive season with Darren, and I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew I had to dig deep, um, but silly little things that you just don't expect. So as I see my weight dropping down, as I see myself getting leaner, I'm thinking, well, how much more?
Mm.
Where are we going with it? And Darren's going, there's more, and
Right.
I'm like, really? And I because I didn't know like the standard that we were going to achieve.
Yeah.
I wasn't resisting all the way, but I was venturing into the unknown.
Yeah.
So this time in 24, when things started to get difficult, or moments throughout the day, or like a difficult week or something, I kept thinking, I suffered in 21. Said
Mm.
I've got a long way to go now. So
Yeah.
I think it was just the experience and the mental side of things was this isn't tough. It's going to get tough. So
Yeah.
just keep going. Um, but I think fortunately because of that, it didn't really get that tough. So I
Right.
think whether my body knew what was coming or whether I just accepted what was coming.
Hmm.
But this prep, although longer, did seem easier.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. That
Reluctant to
makes
say
sense.
easier, to be fair.
What's that, sorry?
Maybe reluctant to say easy or
Yeah. Yeah.
easier, maybe less challenging.
Less challenging. Yeah, that makes sense. And I agree. I think knowing that I think Ben said it on a previous podcast. The first one is always the toughest, and I think I
Yeah,
can agree with that because yeah, it's uncharted territory, isn't it? Really, you don't know what to
yeah.
expect, and
I don't,
yeah, it's true.
I don't want it to fall into the trap of thinking the next one will be easy or less challenging again. I think
True.
every prep will be different. Things can pop up in your personal life and things that can affect situations. But yeah, I was pleased 24 wasn't as challenging as 21.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. It's interesting though, because looking back at your 2021 stage photos, you were lean, but you weren't like 2024 lean. You obviously took conditioning to a whole new level this time. What was different in terms of the process to help you achieve that new level of conditioning?
Um, to be honest, I don't really know.
Right.
It everything stayed very similar to 21. Um, maybe there was a bit more muscle.
Mm.
So I honestly don't know. Those kind of questions you'll have to ask Darren.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of stick to the basics and try and not get bogged down with technicalities too much.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, because
May,
you were leaner for definite, yeah.
right, thank you. Yeah, maybe it was maybe I started from a better body composition. I
Mm.
know this prep was very long, so
Yeah.
maybe just like time in the game, being lean, my
Mm.
body just adapted because my food did actually go up towards the end. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so maybe it's a combination of things, but I think maybe a better starting position,
Yeah.
and then a longer prep.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I think those are both. Yeah, those are both good points there, I think. Yeah, giving yourself enough time absolutely is
Yeah.
so important. Did I was gonna say, did you and Darren find there was like a sweet spot in terms of your physique where you had a good amount of muscularity and conditioning, but pushing it too far made things look worse? Did you find there was like a sweet spot?
Um, I I don't know. I have to be honest. I'm quite simple. I hope I'm not ruining your questions here, but
No, no, not at all.
I send Darren the information that he requires.
Yeah.
He gives me feedback, and I adhere to his wishes.
Yeah, no,
So
no, that makes sense.
I think if you to ask me what look I prefer, then I would
Mm.
say the UK, the FBA, UK International.
Hmm.
But whether that is just my personal preference, whether that is just the complete package that I took to stage, I don't know. But that's where I felt I looked best looking back at the photos.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I tried to keep things nice and simple. I just do as I told, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, we brought some like crazy conditioning, that's for sure. I think
Yeah.
even at the first show, when you weren't as lean as some of the latter shows, you were still completely shredded. What was your, out of curiosity, do you remember what your start weight was at like the first show and the last? Was there much difference at all?
So I've made some notes for you, Ant, but
Oh, really? Nice. He's done his homework.
I've forgotten those. I've forgotten those stats. It was around um, very high 70s.
Right.
So just creeped under the 80 kilo mark, but it was always fluctuating around there. So I know my DFAC weight was 79.3.
Yeah.
And I think that my leanest could have been the UK DFBA show where I was
Right.
79.1 or something, or
Yeah.
70.2. So I was always fluctuating around there, around the 80 kilo mark. Yeah.
Okay, so throughout the season, you were pretty consistent with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
You're talking certainly less than a kilo.
Mm.
Just fluctuating in and around there, and I was holding that weight for quite a while as well. It's my weight did fluctuate, and it does fluctuate still now quite a lot with shifts and different working patterns.
Yeah.
But there was an obvious trend to it, and I did stay around the 80 kilo mark for the majority of prep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. How's your off season going at the moment, James? How's the weight looking at the moment?
Well, the scales they're going up
They're
rapidly.
going up. Yeah.
I'm about 14, 15 kilos up from stage
Yeah,
weight.
that's a good
Uh,
amount.
um, I would say half of that on went very quickly,
Mm.
and now it's leveled off. Um, so yeah, I'm enjoying training. Energy levels are good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're high. Shift work, being a busy dad, it all kind of. I'm never like optimal,
Mm.
but I'm in a good place. Yeah, there's no issues. Food's
Yeah.
going in, training's going well.
Good.
Um, so yeah, I'm in a better place than what I was.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Yeah, I want to chat about your training in a little bit as well. But
Yeah,
going back to that kind of the peak kind of physique thing, um, yeah, I remember when I won my first show back in 2015, I convinced myself that like conditioning was the sole reason that I won. And I was like probably the leanest guy on stage that day, definitely, and at the whole show. And I thought to myself, I don't have the muscle to hang with a mass monster, so I'll just lean into the whole getting completely shredded. But
right.
I didn't get feedback from the judges that time, and I probably should have done because they might have said, you're lean enough. But in
Yeah,
my head, that was my thing, getting condition was my thing. I could bring the conditioning,
yeah,
and I ignored the fact that I had like a decent, shape to my physique. I do think it's tempting for bodybuilders like who don't have like elite level genetics to want to just get completely shredded to kind of
yeah.
compensate for that. And then yeah, they can push it too far. And I definitely did. And it's good to see you kind of yeah, you never seem to push things too far. You seem to kind of even at the end, your body looks, pretty fresh, I'd say, which is yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. There was no manipulation going into the DFAT worlds just because of travel and everything, and just kind of was already being very lean. So we just kept food very standard, and then just manipulated carbs for the travel day and show day.
Yeah.
So there was no kind of depletion or anything. But Darren did change our approach for prep week throughout the season. So we've gone from a straight like carb deplete, carb load
Yeah.
kind of strategy to now actually fat loading.
Okay.
So for a couple of shows, we fat loaded, and he was saying that's generally because when I then carb load, I can hold on to it for longer. So
Mm,
he was noticing that maybe I would fill out, but I wouldn't necessarily retain that fullness for a the required period of time. So
yeah.
by fat loading before, it allows me to hold on that food a bit longer and give me a slightly fuller look. So yeah, any credit is due to Darren. I'm just like I say, I just execute his plan.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it worked. I mean, yeah, you look great. Um, I wanted to delve into kind of the whole balancing being a dad and being on prep things. Obviously, we're both dads.
Yeah,
Um, obviously, yeah, you're a family man like myself. From my perspective, obviously, this was my first prep doing it with two kids, and it's definitely different. Um, there are times when you're deep in prep where you don't have the energy to fully engage with the kids, which is tough. And there's definitely some guilt associated with that for sure. What was it like from your perspective, James? Like balancing prep with being a family man?
Um, it's tough. Uh, it's there. Darren's very good because obviously he's a father as well, so
Yeah.
he understands our situation. So he's very good at sort of like not keeping me in check, but just making sure that I'm doing um what needs to be done, both in
Mm.
terms of bodybuilding and being a father and a husband. So sometimes you just have to take a deep breath and just get on with it. There are things that need to be done, and it's obvious that the children. I mean, my children, my son's 9, my daughter's 6.
Mm.
So they don't understand, but they get it. Um, and actually, they started teasing me this prep actually, so
Right, right.
with ice creams and sweets and stuff. But
Oh, God.
um, my son would just say, "Daddy, are you tired?" And I'll be like, yes, son, I'm tired. But
Mm.
that's because I'm being quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm you know it's like when you say like you're being like generally withdrawn.
Yeah.
I'm there, but I'm not necessarily present. Which, yeah, it it is tough.
Mm.
I do feel guilty, but I try to minimize the impact on the family as much as possible.
Mm.
Shift work and being a shift worker is bad enough on the family as it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's quite tough. But I would say that sometimes plays into my advantage because I'm not always here. I'll either be missing bedtime if I'm working a night shift, or I'll miss breakfast. Or sorry, yeah, I miss breakfast and school run, early
Yeah.
morning school run. If I'm on day shift, in fact, I miss
Mm.
both school runs if I'm on day shift.
Yeah.
So I'm either there or I'm not.
Mm.
Um, but when I am there, I have to try to be positive. But yeah,
Mm.
it is tough. It is
It's
tough.
a yeah, no, it really is. And I'm hoping, was this the first? Because you competed in 21, you would have had kids then. So I guess you've done two preps with, yeah, with
Yeah,
kids.
and that was probably harder
Yeah,
balancing the family because they didn't understand then.
yeah,
Um, and it's kind of like what's going on. They don't notice any changes in me physically. They just but it's just how my behavior. You know,
mm,
sleepy or grumpy and all the
mm,
rest of it. But now they're a little bit older. Now I can talk to them about what's happening, um, and and, and they get it a little bit. I think they appreciate being having the situation explained to them,
yeah,
rather than just kind of like what's going on.
mm,
So that's quite good. Yeah, my daughter when I chatted to my daughter, I said, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and she couldn't really understand why I would want to put sparkly pants on again today. So she just called it a show off show. I'm
sure, I
doing
like
my
that.
show off show. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you hit the nail on the head, really.
Yeah, yeah,
I like that. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, you're right though. It is communication is so important, and I guess having the kids a bit older, it just makes it that bit easier, doesn't it?
yeah.
I'm
It,
hoping, yeah, next time I compete, I can just keep being, keep being myself a little bit more.
yeah,
'Cause it wasn't like disastrous, but I know I can do better. There were times actually when if I said something that wasn't where I wasn't quite myself, or I was neglecting to play with Jamie as much as usual, he'd say, "Oh,
yeah,
is it because of the low body fat?" And yeah, he kept saying, "Oh, is it the low body fat?" And yeah,
yeah,
it gives me like nightmares now because I know that
yeah,
that's like a reminder that I could have done a bit better. It is tough.
yeah. I think for me it was like the being quiet, the being withdrawn.
Right.
So you know it's like with the family dynamic. If there are arguments brewing,
Mm,
then I I would have two choices. I would either kind of like lose my rag or
mm,
walk away. So
right.
obviously you choose to walk away and just kind of like it's not as bad as what you think just because
Mm,
you're feeling on edge or whatever. It's so then I have to give Rachel, my wife, a lot of credit for that because I'm walking away from the situation, letting her deal with the situation. So you
right.
know, so okay, it's okay for me to walk away and not react,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm leaving my wife to do a lot of the kind of resolution kind of
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
So it's difficult on everyone. It's difficult on
Yeah,
everyone.
no, it is. Yeah, I think bodybuilding prep like 100% has the potential to put a strain on a marriage. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it was easy for me and Sarah, but yeah, I think a big part of us navigating it was just communication. Sarah's quite
Yeah,
lucky. she's really introspective, and yeah, she's great at expressing her feelings. And I hope
Right.
hope some of that has rubbed off on me. But I think it's
Yeah,
easy for bodybuilders to just kind of be in their own head, and especially guys as well. But then you can just come across as moody and
yeah,
yeah, be curt with your responses. But yeah, you just don't have the energy. But you want to suffer in silence. I think that's the mentality that us bodybuilders have. Just suffer.
yeah,
Let me get
yeah,
on with
yeah,
it. But then it can
yeah,
come across as cold, I think, to everyone
yeah.
else.
That's exactly right. I'll never turn down a request to do anything,
Mm.
um, with the children or like days out or anything like that. But don't wish to sound mean, but please don't expect me to do it with a smile on my face.
Yeah,
It's kind of one of those. But again, I have to give credit to Rachel, my wife, because um, I would say that I need to do this, this, and this, and she'll just be
mm.
like, okay, go and do it then. There was no kind of, she wasn't offering to do anything for me, but she was allowing me the time to do these things. But then, like in reverse, when I was off shift and we're having like family days out, or we're going off to see Rachel's family, um, I'll say to Rachel, "What- when are we leaving, or what are we doing?" And then I would work out all of my training and my food prep around that time.
Mm.
So I like to think there's consideration on my side as well. And I like to think that that allows me the times that I need to be a little bit more selfish. That kind of like buys me that time. So
Mm.
yeah, it is tough, but I like to think I earn some brownie points along the way.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. I love that. Do you think you would do things differently next time in terms of the whole balancing the two?
Um, I I honestly don't know if I can, to be honest, Anthony.
Mm.
It's kind of, I'm very regimented with
Mm.
my training and my routines, whether I'm off shift or on shift.
Yeah.
Um, and that's very fixed around Rachel's working hours, the children's school hours. So like a day like today, half term, that throws everything out the window.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm very fixed, and I try to have a minimal impact on the family. So
Yeah.
I don't really know where I could make any changes,
Mm.
apart from obviously myself and my behaviour in the family home.
Right, right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but otherwise, no. I think, like I say, I try to do all of my training and all of my bodybuilding, um, kind of non-negotiables, um, outside of family time. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, that works. Yeah. Keeping them separate is a good, yeah, a good idea, I
yeah.
think. Um, Going on to your training, what's your current training spit like, James?
So uh, it's been the same for quite a while now. So I train 4 days a week.
Hmm.
I train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's a rest day, and then Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
But again, that's based around my shift work pattern and family life.
Hmm.
So I start work on a Wednesday, I finish work on a Tuesday. I do 7 days straight, but then I have a week off. So the Wednesday is either start of shift or finishing shifts. So that's like a rest. So I train Monday, Tuesday, start work, then Thursday, Friday, weekend off.
Hmm.
Obviously, family time. So yeah, it's it's been that way for a while. I think it works well. It allows me a rest day in the week, ready to start work, and it gives me the weekend off. If I'm working that weekend, then of course it's just rest. But then if I'm off with the family, then it's family time.
Yep.
So yeah, it's designed around work and family for minimal impact.
Yeah. And it's like a push pull lower kind of thing. What? How...
So no, I'll do. I'll try and get this right now because because your week starts on a Monday, my week starts on a Wednesday. It's
Oh,
just the way.
right, right. Okay.
So
Yep.
I Monday I do legs.
Yeah.
Tuesdays chest and arms. Wednesday off. Thursdays back. Um, some hamstrings thrown in there, and then Friday is shoulders triceps.
Yeah.
So bit more of a bro split. I don't know, but it's certainly not push pull or upper lower.
Yeah. How long is a session last for you typically?
It's around about an hour and a half,
Okay. Yep.
I think so. And it's quite interesting because listening to your other guests talk about training and their kind of like principles and philosophies and things,
Mm-hmm.
it, I I often train on my own,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where I am, just because of the times I train. So it's quite difficult to gauge like intensity and things like this. You know, it's I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm stuck in my ways, but I'm certainly in my groove.
Yeah,
I like to think I train hard, um, but I don't really have any comparisons. You know,
yeah, yeah.
so but yeah, it's that's what I do, and it works.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. Um, Touching back on the whole your conditioning, has that something that's is that something that's just come easily to you, just getting to those levels of conditioning?
Uh, I don't want to say yes, uh, but I certainly don't think I've done anything special to get that lean.
Right.
Um, I when I start prep and I'm in a calorie deficit, I do lose weight very steadily.
Mm.
Or so obviously there's an initial drop quite quick, but
Yeah.
then it is like very steady all the way down.
Mm.
Like I say, there's little fluctuations with the shifts, but generally it's nice and constant. Um, and it does just seem to come off. I
Mm.
don't really seem to do anything special. I'm not a lean person naturally.
Right, right,
When I was much younger, I'd be what I would describe as skinny fat.
right.
Um, so yeah, I walk around now with a fair bit of body fat on me. Um, better body composition than for the last time. I think I've been more conscious of what I've been eating coming out of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm no means lean when I'm off season. No.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was kind of curious actually because yeah, I wondered if you were just lean anyway, and then you got incredibly lean as well. But you have to lose quite a lot of body fat in terms of overall percentage then.
Yeah, so the guy Alex Harvey that I competed with UKDFBA, I'm under the impression that he is a very lean guy all year round.
Right.
Um, so I'm the complete opposite. No,
Yeah.
I lose it very quickly, and as long as my diet is stable, then I can maintain that generally no problem.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I start to up the calories, then all the fluff comes with it as well. So,
Right, right, okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. No, I
mm.
like that. Um, in terms of your next competitions, James, when are you looking to compete again?
um, So I'm going to say 27. Um, there was a 3 year gap between obviously 21, 24, and it seemed to work well with the family. So I think 27 would be uh, the earliest. Um, I must have, I must admit 26. Yeah,
Yeah.
mate, I would like to, but also I think 27 gives me time to maybe improve my physique a little bit. Um, and like I say, it gives me time to enjoy the family for a couple of years before we go back into another prep. So yeah, I'm going to say 27. So,
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, cool. That'd be yeah. I might see you on stage again. We shall see.
hopefully not. I'll try
Hopefully
and
not.
avoid you as much as possible, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking 26 or 27, but we'll
Yeah,
see. I was going to ask as well something I'm really, really curious about with bodybuilders in general that have been training like a long time, like we have.
yeah.
Out of actually curiosity, when did you start training? How old are you, James?
Um, was 16.
So yeah,
So
okay, yeah,
literally, the day I started my apprenticeship, um, I was working with a guy. We were apprentices together, but he was a sprinter.
yeah.
He had a very impressive physique. He was a couple of years older than me, but a very impressive physique. He trained a lot, obviously, with his sprinting, but he done weights as well.
Mm,
And then we just started going down the gym together, just because I was interested. I liked the physique. I liked the aesthetic, and I was curious. With going down the gym and the whole kind of like bodybuilding world.
mm,
So that's when it started. And it's always kind of like been in the background. But I've always trained ever since then, regardless
yeah.
of what's at the forefront of my world at any particular time. Training has always been there.
Mm,
Um, I certainly didn't utilize bodybuilding as much as I should have in the early years. It was always just something that we done. We just went to the gym and we just trained.
yeah.
and it was only ever really, I suppose after I got married that I thought, well, if I'm going to do it,
Hmm.
I need to do it soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always just been something we done. Never took too seriously. We just went to the gym.
Hmm. Yeah. If you had to, obviously, how old are you now, James?
I'm 44, 45
44.
in the summer.
So you've
Yeah.
been training for like almost 3 decades, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah.
If you had to kind of zoom out your whole kind of training career, would you say progress has been linear, or can you pinpoint times where you've made a lot of progress, and times where it's just stalled a little bit?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Definitely. There's definitely been periods where it's stalled, and I can relate that back to periods of my life that have been very busy. So, say when I was doing my degree, obviously that's very intensive workload
yeah,
on top of my job as well because it was ran alongside my work.
right,
So training then was only ever as and when I could, and more of a stress reliever rather than you know a bodybuilding hobby.
yeah,
Um, in terms of gains, then I would say there are periods between I would say 17 and 20,
yeah,
but they're kind of like the golden years when you start.
yeah,
But there was, I mean, we're talking late 90s, so
yeah,
there was almost pre-internet.
mm,
Um, so knowledge was minimal, and we only really ever had Flex magazine to look at and to read. And then obviously guys in the gym that were impressive, intimidating figures.
mm,
There was only ever lift heavy and eat a lot.
yeah,
That was that. But in those periods, I could see good gains, but
yeah,
they were never really capitalized on. Really, it's kind of that period then ties in with a period of going out with my mates,
yeah,
enjoying myself, all the rest of it, not really taking anything very seriously. Certainly no consistency out of the gym, which is obviously detrimental. Um, but yeah, it's all a good learning curve, and obviously now settled down, married, children, it
hmm,
gives me a lot more opportunity to focus on bodybuilding rather
yeah.
than going out partying.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe like a selfish question because I've only just turned 40. I turned 40 last year. How has it been since you hit 40 or even like late 30s? Have you noticed you've still made progress in the gym and with your physique in general?
Yeah, so no, I have, and I think that is because I'm taking it more seriously now. So um, I'm getting a few more aches and pains,
Mhm.
but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot more. Um, I like how disciplined you have to be. I think I'll thrive on that, to be honest.
Mhm.
But because of that, and it's only really since about 2021, maybe just before, that I've actually tracked my progress in the gym.
Right.
So before it was just go in there and have fun.
Yeah.
But now I'm actually tracking my progress. I'm sticking to a routine. You're seeing the advances within that program. So yeah, I'll definitely say that I'm still making improvements,
Mm.
albeit slow.
Yeah.
And you never really see. Obviously, you might get some improvements of reps or weights, or on your training plan, but that never really sort of transfers onto stage. Or if it does, you've got to wait 3 years to see those. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a slow game. But yeah, I feel that I can still make improvements. So
Yeah.
we'll keep going.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And that
Mm.
leaves me with hope, I suppose, as well. Because
Uh,
yeah,
you, yeah, you've got a long time left in you, Anthony. You'll be
I,
fine.
I hope so. Yeah, I do hope so. Because I had 9 years off. I basically
Yeah,
competed in 2015 and then 9 years off training. And yeah, sorry, 9 years off competing. I still trained, maybe not
yeah,
with the intensity of that I'm trained with now, but I definitely still trained. So
yeah,
yeah, I think there's, like I said before, more juice to be squeezed. I can definitely extract some more out of my
yeah,
physique.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I
And
hope so.
I said to Darren a couple of weeks ago when he was talking about competing this year as well.
Hmm.
So I'm not really too sure where my competitive future is going.
Right.
But like I say, we're aiming for 27.
Hmm.
But then I said, do I stop then? Do I carry on then? But
Mm.
but the question is, if I do stop or if I do draw a line under it, I'm still going to train. I'm
Yeah.
still going to follow a meal plan. So it's very I'm very content with it being open ended.
Yeah.
As long as I can progress in the gym and as long as I can still be competitive on stage, then we'll wait and see.
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. I think that's a good mentality to have, really, open-ended. So yeah,
Mm,
at your core, all of us, we're bodybuilders, aren't we? And then
yeah,
we love training, and then the
yeah,
competing on stage is just it's like a branch off that, really, isn't it? And it's a
yeah,
big part of it, but
yeah,
yeah, it's the routine, it's the daily things we do, the eating, the tracking, the lifting. That's
yeah,
what makes us, yeah, who we are, really, isn't it?
yeah. Very much so. Very much. I enjoy I enjoy competing or the
Mm.
process of competing, but I've always said that show day is never my favorite day. It's always
No,
kind of it's lovely to draw a line under it, and I love looking at the photographs after.
yeah,
But yeah, the actual show day, it's not my favorite part. Yeah.
right, right. Do you get nervous on show day at all?
No, I did.
Yeah.
I, yeah. Even this year, the first show, maybe the second show, but then nerves died down towards the end, and
Mm,
I think that's because um, you know deep down that you've done all you can do.
mm,
You haven't cheated in or out of the gym.
yeah.
You've put so much effort into it. Um, so by the time you get backstage, there's nothing more you can do.
Mm,
So it's just kind of you just have to try to enjoy it. So I'm not nervous. I I am nervous, but not for the result. Only because I don't want to make a fool of myself.
right, right.
You don't want to forget your routine or anything else like that. But yeah, I'm very much. By the time you've got there, it's all done and dusted. There's nothing more you can do.
Yeah.
So
So true, and a really good message, I think, that people can utilize because yeah, because really there's no reason to be nervous. You've done the practice, you've done the posing, the
yeah,
training. It's
yeah,
like all you're doing is what you've been doing in the off season, but it is still nerve-wracking. I find it a bit nerve-wracking, although to be fair, for me, the most nerve-wracking part is just it's doing my individual routine, and especially
yeah,
it's if you're like fifth or sixth or seventh in line, waiting for everyone else to do theirs, and you're just
yeah,
waiting backstage for their
yeah,
minute to be
yeah,
up. And I find that to be the most nerve-wracking part. Once I'm on stage doing the mandatories, I'm completely fine. But
yeah.
it's the routine for me.
And I suppose when you do the mantras, you're with all the other athletes, so it's not all eyes on you.
Mm,
But obviously the individual routine, then they are,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
It is. It's a weird feeling. It is, and yeah, it's a weird thing. Bodybuilding in general. I think because we're in it now, we don't really see it. But just to zoom out, you think that's a strange thing. Standing on stage in your posing trunks with lots of glaze and tan is weird.
yeah, it
But I
is.
love
Yeah,
it.
it's an unusual environment.
Yeah, no, it is. Well, it's been really fun, James. I've really enjoyed this chat with you. The hour is almost up, but as per usual, we're going to do our quick fire questions next,
Okay.
and we're going to keep them the same. So, what's your favorite film, James?
So I struggle to watch films,
Okay.
only because I'll fall asleep. I
Right,
mean,
right.
it doesn't take me much to fall asleep, but um, I kind of like a British gangster films, I suppose. So you're going back to things like Snatch,
Mm,
Layer Cake, um, Legend,
okay.
films like that. But if I had to pick one, it would be a film again going back maybe 20 odd years, and it would be a Denzel Washington film, Man on Fire.
Yeah, that's a great film. I think that
So
came out in like
yeah,
2004-ish, I think maybe.
right. Yeah, I know it
Might
was
be
a long
wrong.
time ago, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a brilliant film. I really like that film. Yeah,
Uh,
it's
That's great. Yeah, I remember seeing that, and yeah, that's great. And going back to the gangster films, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, one of my favorite films. I love that.
yeah. I've watched Snatch again recently, and
Oh
they
yeah,
do make me laugh. They do make me laugh. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You know what's weird, and it's not necessarily related to that, but it's Brad Pitt's in that. He's in good shape.
yeah,
He's in
yeah,
Fight Club. He's in good shape. People used to kind of idolize that Fight Club look, and yet today it doesn't look that impressive. It's weird how our perception of what an impressive physique is has changed so much. And even I look at it, and I think he really wasn't that impressive a physique. But I used to idolize that look. It's weird.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is strange. Is that society generally changing, or is it just because we've achieved a better look?
Yeah, I don't know really. Yeah, I think social media has skewed our perception of what an impressive physique is
Yeah,
to an extent.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's a weird one. It's
yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
What's your favorite dieting food, James?
So you've had a lot of guests say protein oats.
Mm.
So I'm going to say something different, although I would agree with that, or certainly is one of my favorites. But when I'm on prep, I eat a meal which is baked sweet potato and soft boiled eggs.
Oh, okay.
So sounds very strange. And when Darren first got me eating it, I was a bit kind of like not too sure about this,
Ah,
but it's a lovely combination. You got the sweet, soft potato, and then
yeah.
soft boiled eggs, which are quite rich. And also I put some spicy sauce and some salt on there. So it's rich, sweet, salty, spicy, and it's a nice combination.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds good. Very nutritious as well. So that was
Yeah,
a Darren suggestion, was it?
it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I like them both. I don't have much sweet potato, to be fair, but I never had them together. Yeah, interesting.
So I only eat it when I'm on prep,
Yeah.
and I always say that we'll include it in our meal plan at home with the children,
Mm.
all year round. But it always seems to fall off the menu, and it's only a food that I eat on prep, but I do enjoy it when I have it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I wish I could get my kids to eat that. They're quite fussy at the moment. Actually, my youngest is. What are your kids like in terms of are they fussy eaters or not?
So they eat well, and they'll eat a mixture of vegetables, fruits. So there's no problem with the variety, but then getting them to try something new
Oh,
is the
yeah.
challenge. So staple vegetables in my house are carrots and broccoli, parsnips. So
Mm.
they'll have them every day, no problem. But then to try and get them to maybe eat like a chicken fajita or something with some peppers in, or some, even if there's
Mm.
no spice, then we struggle.
Yeah.
So they're not bad, but I would like them to be a little bit more adventurous.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can relate to that. Yeah, it is tough with kids, but it's with my eldest Jamie. He'll eat a lot of quite interesting, well, no, foods that kids typically wouldn't eat, olives, and there's a few other things.
Yeah,
But yeah, then
yeah,
he's like you were saying, he's so against trying new stuff, and it's it's
yeah.
so frustrating.
And it is strange, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. What's your favorite off-season food, James?
Uh, well, I'll always veer towards spice and flavor. So
Mm.
Indians
Yeah.
always up there. Although I don't have very many Indians now, to be fair. I do like Mexican food,
Mm.
and also like smoked meats, like barbecues, like smokehouse kind of meats. But
Mm.
um, we visited some friends in America last year. I went to a Mexican restaurant. We were close to the Mexican border. Went to a Mexican restaurant and had birria tacos. So yeah,
Right.
they were very nice. So I'll go Mexican food. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, good answer. Yeah. What are your hobbies outside of bodybuilding?
Um, well, there's not a lot of time left, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I am involved with my son's football team. So
Oh, cool.
he plays for the local team at under 10s. So I help out. There's a manager and three other coaches. So I'm one of the other coaches. So yeah, 50% of the time I'm there. Obviously, the other half I'm working.
Yeah.
But when I can, I like to get involved with that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, yeah, doing your bit as a dad as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
really
quite
cool.
strange. I never thought of that really. I quite enjoy messing about with the boys,
Yeah,
and you see as they're going through the years, their personalities evolve as well, and they're
yeah,
actually quite funny and quite cheeky. And you see, yeah, it's nice to be a part of it. Yeah.
yeah. That's great. Yeah, really cool thing to do.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end things there, James. Thank you so much for coming on. Really enjoyed chatting with you. And
Well,
yeah, it's been great to catch up again after a few months post competing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.